it rain. A weekend in the country, it's exciting, it's been great.
It's like as you dream as a little girl, what being on the stage should be like.
Wow, I'm so pleased because actually, I think Francesca was the only person I can think of who I did worry for. So I'm thrilled that it's all turned around.
Nancy is a massive personality and a big, bubbly character, and I was in a I've got to be professional, focused mindset. My personality never came across.
What's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion?
Francesca, you are a glamorous performer, and to me that isn't really the essence of Nancy.
Francesca, I still find you a little bit musical theatre stagey in an old-fashioned way, which I would like to see roughened up.
Francesca entered the process a perfectly confident, professional, capable, could do it standing on her head musical theatre performer, and somehow it crushed her.
I can't do what Claire's trying to get me to do. I'm questioning everything I'm doing now vocally.
Francesca, you're in the bottom two.
It was very difficult to pull myself back up after the knock of being in the bottom two from the first week. I don't even know if I really did ever come back to full confidence.
I'm gonna obviously work on it and try and get it sorted out. You know, if you can't impress him, then you're obviously doing something very wrong.
It is there. I am fun to be around. Just didn't let it out.
You could still be Nancy. You could also still be Nancy. Well done. You could still be Nancy. You could still be Nancy. You could still be Nancy.
Unfortunately, Francesca paid for her professionalism when once again she found herself in the sing-off.
Have you done enough to convince Andrew? He must now decide.
I'm going to save Ashley. It's going to be the beginning of a long road for you. You're a great girl, Francesca. I'm sorry to have to do it.
Francesca is not Nancy, and now 8 remain.
On the Saturday, it is your world, you know, and somebody getting voted off, it's the end of their world. In that moment, you know, that's what I always say to them, look, be sad tonight, but don't wallow in this.
And then you kind of wait for the phone to ring and hope that your agents call you a job, or that something's come out of it. And that's what happened for me. Take the risk, go on the programme, because I honestly think you can only get success from it.
There are 3 winners, but there must be, you know, 17, 18, 25 credible musical theatre careers.
Not all the finalists have been professional actors. The programme's often found rough diamonds in the most unlikely of places, such as Rotherham-based Rob McVie. When he auditioned to be Joseph, Rob was a builder who couldn't resist the lure of the stage.
My best friend got me into the operatics purely by off chance. I went to a rehearsal one day with him, seemed to get dragged into a part, and then from then on I just got hooked. I'm a very realistic person, and I knew that I needed some sort of trade behind me, so that's when I decided that I was going to become a builder.
He was actually a few years older than me at school, and I think sometimes he got bullied him for what he believed. Obviously his acting, singing, dancing. When you're at school, people look at that and think, well, it's not really normal for a child as such.
He's like an old day Billy Elliot, but maybe an uglier one.
Rob has since traded in his toolbox for tights, as he's been playing Prince Charming in Cinderella, his 3rd pantomime since leaving the competition.
When I first got the job for Panto, I was approached through my agent, see me audition for 8 weeks, however long we've been on telly. So they knew what I was capable of, and you know, I was a local sort of celebrity figure then. Rob the Builder gimmick, I think, was absolutely fantastic for me because it put me in the public eye. People could remember it. Kids could relate to it.
It is Rob the Builder McVeigh.
It was just fantastic, and I think it gave me a sort of edge at the beginning.
Unfortunately, that edge was wearing thin by the 6th round of the competition.
You're definitely in the sing-off.
Tell me it's not true.
I mean, when I came out in round 6, it was very disappointed.
I'm going to save Lewis.
We'd had some great experiences, and, you know, to know that was all over was a scary time, really, because you didn't know where you were going to go from there. We got great support after that. We weren't just abandoned, but you did feel lost at the same time.
I just want to say thank you, you know, for giving somebody who's never had any experience in this business a chance. And
You're a good boy. You've been brilliant, Rob.
I think the panel and I thought that what Rob brought to us was something completely fresh, completely raw, completely outside of the theatre box. And the fact is that he's now pursuing a career in theatre, which is going to be fine.
I owe it all to you.
Even Andrew couldn't have foreseen the path Rob's new career would take, when, a year after leaving the show, he reached the final of the competition to represent the UK in Eurovision.
It's been like nearly 2.5 years for me doing this now. I walk on stage and I switch on. It just automatically happens now. I probably would not have had the confidence to follow a professional career in this business if it wasn't for the show. I took a chance, really, going for the show, and it led me on to what I really wanted to do.
Rob the Builder. He's hoping his hard labour will raise the roof.
In the end, that's what it's all about. And that's why I think a lot of professionals are now probably thinking, why didn't I enter that?
High on a hill was a lonely goat herd, lay,
Whatever they may think now, many professional actors weren't immediately taken with the idea. And in 2006, the Actors' Union Equity threatened the BBC with strike action.
Actors in the West End going through a auditioning process don't really expect that audition to be seen by 8-9 million people. And for those people, rather than the theatre producers having the decision of whether they get the job or not. So there was a lot of concern.
Cream-coloured ponies and crisp apple strudels.
There were people who didn't give me a chance from the word go and who didn't want me to succeed. I could, you know, hear their sniffiness. Can't believe they're casting a leading lady in this manner, you know, they might get a shop girl to play Maria. But that's the great thing about winning something like that, because you just want to prove people wrong.
I'd say, listen, I mean, I have been around in musical theatre since 1970, and I haven't been known yet for trying to bring it down.
Andrew Lloyd Webber didn't entirely relay some of those other concerns as to how you would get someone who could perform 8-12 shows a week through this process. And he couldn't also give a guarantee that, of course, the best person would get the job. You know, it would be down to a public vote.
The risk was that we would find absolutely nobody who could have played the very, very big role in Maria. In the end, we came up with 5 girls who I think could have played it. Aoife Mulholland, who was, in fact, I think 5th in the programme, and she ended up playing Maria in the London Palladium. And, you know, she now has a major career in the West End.
Just because we're at Boston Women's Correctional Facility, does that mean we can't become the best that we can be?
I didn't know Aoife was in Legally Blonde. And by the end of it, I still didn't know Aoife was in Legally Blonde. Till I met her at the party. I was like, oh, that was you? She's amazing. And what she's done to her body is just extraordinary.